Hey guys, welcome back to the New Tennis Era podcast. My name's Anthony Hirsch. Today I'm going to be doing previews for the men's semifinal matches between Sasha Zverev taking on Novak Djokovic, as well as Ben Shelton taking on Jannik Sinner. I'm going to start with the latter of those two matches and do my preview of what I think we might see in terms of game styles, their previous matches, etc., etc. And then I'm going to give my prediction for what I think the match result might end up being, but I think more than anything, the main part of this video is going to be analysis of what we might actually see play out in the match in terms of rallies, and who I think might have the upper hand. And yes, I'll go over Shelton Sinner, and then I'll do Djokovic versus Zverev. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're new to Quality Shot Tennis, and check out the other New Tennis Era podcasts that have been done. And also, please don't forget to like the video as well. Alright, so let's get into the video. So, Shelton versus Sinner. Ben Shelton won the first meeting that he played against Jannik, which was kind of a big moment. This was after Jannik's run in Beijing, where he won the title with back-to-back victories over Carlos Alcaraz and Daniil Medvedev, back-to-back in straight sets. Really the beginning of Jannik's dominance in the sport. In Beijing, he began the consistency and the level of play that we've seen him just keep improving upon at multiple aspects of his game, which has made him very capable of consistently beating all the top players in the world. And of course, he has been number one in the world for quite a while, since midway through last year. Because of the level that he was able to find starting pretty much from Beijing. US Open lost to Zverev in 5 sets, then Beijing. Anyway, he might have been a little bit tired in this match. You could make an argument after the run in Beijing. That's what it kind of seemed like a little bit to me. But for the most part, I thought Ben Shelton played a fantastic match here. He lost the first set 6-2, but then was able to take it in a deciding set tiebreak versus Jannik. And like I said, it was their first meeting. Jannik has won their last 4 meetings. The last one also being in Shanghai, which Jannik won in straight sets. I'll go over a little bit of what we saw in both of those matches, because I think that might give us the best idea of what we might see here. But honestly, I just feel as if Shelton in the first match that they played, he was able to serve very well. I'll give you a stat. In the match, he won 48% of second serve points. It's below half, but Jannik is an unreal returner, particularly off of second serve returns. He will just crush and blow. He can hit harder returns than anybody else in the game, right? He can hit harder shots than anybody else in the game. So he can attack second serves and pounce on them. Shelton's serve, with the pace that he gets on it, even if he doesn't always place it perfectly, it causes a little bit of trouble for Sinner. Their last match in Shanghai, the last match that they played, Shelton won 40% of second serve points. I'm not even going to tell you the number that de Minaur won in the match that he just played against Jannik. I think it was like 33% or something. So basically what I'm saying is you want that second serve points stat to be quite high, and Shelton's was pretty high. 48% is very reasonable, particularly against Jannik Sinner. Very good against Jannik Sinner. So that was one of Shelton's big keys to the match. The other thing I want to point out is that Ben Shelton in this match was able to come to the net quite a lot, which was very good. Arguably, I think he's better at the net than, let's say, Sinner's last opponent, de Minaur, a little bit. Very, very good at coming in behind his serve, or even his +1. Was really taking his chances, dictating. I felt like Sinner's backhand was pretty much breaking down as Shelton was able to attack the backhand relentlessly. I feel like Sinner at this point has built up more muscle, leg muscle, and his movement's a little bit better than it was at this time. And he'll feel a little bit better moving to that backhand. But I think Shelton was doing a really good job at dictating and really attacking and breaking down Sinner's backhand in this match. So we'll see if he can try to do similar things here. I will also say, since I mentioned Alex de Minaur hits very low bounce. That's how Sinner likes to play. You might notice the 10-0 head-to-head between Sinner and de Minaur. de Minaur plays very low and flatter, less RPMs than Ben. Sinner likes to play more with the low bounce, with the flatter shots, the lower shots that de Minaur brings. And also de Minaur's serve, very attackable for Jannik. A lot of not able to come to net as well and finish off points at the net. There's a lot of things that Ben does that test Sinner more than de Minaur. And I will also make a comparison real quick to the WTA side. Swiatek played absolutely phenomenal, arguably the best level of the whole tournament, against Emma Navarro in the quarterfinals, but then beat her 6-1, 6-2, but then she just lost to Madison Keys, who is night and day, even though they're both American players who are quite, their rankings have been similar at times, night and day in terms of how their play style is, and Madison Keys beat Swiatek in an absolute epic, right? So I think different matchups are a very important thing in tennis, and how different game styles and how player plays are very important in terms of how they match up with each other. And I will just say that, I think that Ben Shelton poses a much bigger threat to Sinner than de Minaur did. Sinner, similarly to Swiatek, played probably the best level of the whole tournament in the quarters against de Minaur. Completely dismantled him. De Minaur is incredible, and Sinner just brushed him aside as if he didn't just reach world number 6 in the world, and as if he was 600 in the world. So, and that's genuinely what it felt like. So, Shelton has had 5 out of the 9 sets that he's played against Sinner in their last 4 matches since that victory have gone 7-5 or 7-6. And 7 out of 9 have gone at least 6-4. So even though he's lost every set that they've played since that Shanghai match, it's actually been very, very close sets. And I think that Shelton brings a game style that can test Jannik a little bit more, because he is able to come to net. He will take his chances hitting drop shots. I don't think the consistency is where Jannik is at from the back of the court. But I think the serve is going to help Shelton. I think the RPMs that he brings, like I said, could help, particularly on this court, which I think the conditions really favor Jannik against most players. I think Jannik really likes these conditions, the faster courts. I don't think he minds it at all. So I think Jannik is the favorite, but I think Shelton, there's a lot of things that make the matchup, I think, a little bit more interesting than some people might give it credit for. Some other factors that I would like to mention in regards to this match: Sinner just completely decimated Alex de Minaur, like I mentioned. Meanwhile, Ben Shelton played 4 hours against Lorenzo Sonego, which was very, very good. I mean, Shelton's actually gone 4 sets every single match that he's played, except versus Nakashima, and that one was also close. So I do wonder if Shelton could be a little tired, but to me, he appears like a fit guy. This isn't his first rodeo getting to a semifinal of a slam. He's the first American active player to get to 2 semifinals of a slam, which I didn't really realize, because, we've had a lot of different runs to slam semifinals, finals recently. But yeah, he becomes the first player that has been able to do that twice. Actually, I think I have to correct myself, because I think Tiafoe was actually also able to do it at the US Open. Was he not the semifinal? Okay, so Tiafoe actually did it first. I have to correct myself. So Shelton becomes the second player after Frances Tiafoe. Anyway, the other things I will mention is that Shelton needs to hit a lot of aces. He needs to ace Sinner. In Shanghai, Shelton aced him 15 times to just 8 aces from Sinner. The last time that they played in Shanghai, they both hit 7 aces each. Shelton needs to just be dominating on serve. He needs to be confident on serve. That needs to be a crutch for him. He needs to be able to really, really hit some big serves. And Sinner definitely wants to dictate, right? So whoever's dictating, that's going to be a big thing. But Shelton, in the last match against Sonego, he was able to hit a lot of big shots, but still he came away with a very impressive positive winner to error ratio, which I would mention as well. So I think that Shelton can be a bigger test than I think some people give him credit for. I think he's gone under the radar here. And I think that Shelton needs to try the same thing, which is just really go at Sinner's backhand. I think, though, that in a lot of ways Sinner has improved, and he'll be moving way better in this match if the different injuries that were causing him trouble against, don't know why I'm going on a blank, the different injuries that are causing him trouble against Holger Rune don't come to play. I think Sinner's going to be moving way better. So, yeah, like I said, Shelton hit 54 winners to 33 unforced errors versus Sonego. Shelton needs to continue this. Sinner looked nearly unbeatable against de Minaur. Just moving fantastic, placing the ball incredible from both wings everywhere, no matter where he's at. Sinner's dropped just 2 sets. So Shelton needs to bring not just his A game, he needs to bring his A++++ game if Sinner plays anything like he did in the quarterfinal. But we'll see if Shelton is able to step up to the big moment. I don't think Shelton's afraid of a big moment. So we'll see what all happens. I've got Sinner in 4 sets. Now we move on to Djokovic versus Zverev. Djokovic is 8-4 versus Zverev. Their last 4 meetings they've split, and they've all been in big tournaments. However, they've only had 1 meeting since 2021. That was Cincinnati 2023 semifinals. Djokovic won 7-6, 7-5. You might notice a pattern. The other match that Djokovic won in the last 4 meetings was the US Open semifinal in 2021, which was one of the closest semifinals you'll see. It was very tough for Novak to pull through that one. He had to bring everything and more to get through that semifinal. Novak knew it, Zverev knew it, and that's why, part of why, Novak was toast for the final when he was trying to go for the calendar slam against Medvedev. He was gone. So I will mention that. So they split their last 4 meetings. This is their 5th consecutive semifinal meeting. I don't think Zverev was playing his best against Tommy Paul. Tommy Paul was playing amazing. I do think it was high level from both. Zverev's level was definitely very high at the end of the match, not just because it was a breadstick set for the 4th set, but he really brought his best level for the end of the match. But I will say that his level throughout the match I don't think was his best. He had just 7 aces throughout the match. He had 27 unforced, 27 winners to 36 unforced errors, negative winner to error ratio. I don't think he was playing his best. And Novak against Alcaraz, 2nd through or 3rd and 4th sets, he was playing awesome. So I think that if we see the general level that they both brought in the quarterfinals, I think Novak is the favorite. But I think that Zverev has performed well when he's needed to against Novak recently, and I don't think Novak is going to be able to dominate, let's say, Sasha Zverev's second serve as much as he was able to dominate Alcaraz's second serve throughout the quarterfinal that he played against Carlos. And also, I think Zverev should be a little bit more solid, less error-prone than Alcaraz was in that match, which I think will be a big thing as well. And I don't think we'll see outright aggressive Djokovic like we basically saw in the 2nd set or even towards the end of the 1st set from Novak in that Alcaraz match. But Alcaraz he was a mess of himself in that Djokovic match. The stats show, I think, 20 or 21 unforced errors from Alcaraz in the 3rd and 4th sets to just 6 from Novak. Novak was playing some phenomenal tennis, just hitting such great depth, moving well, defending well, and some big shots from Novak when he needed them. Zverev was able to come to net quite well against Paul. He won 73% of net points, capitalized on the big points and moments at the end of both sets. At the end of those matches, at the end of those first 2 sets, Paul actually was serving for both sets with set points. So that's a good sign that Zverev was able to win the big points, because that's often his issue, honestly, although partially it has to do with Paul, whose forehand just escaped Tommy Paul when he needed it the most, particularly in the 2nd set when he was serving for it. And Paul had a negative winner to error ratio despite hitting more winners than Zverev as well. So I think Zverev, similarly to what I was saying about Djokovic, Zverev will need to expect that he's going to have less unforced errors than Paul did. Djokovic will have to expect that Zverev will have less unforced errors than Alcaraz did, so they can't rely on that. But I do think that with the level they're both showing, it's going to be interesting. I think a lot of the things that Djokovic was able to do against Alcaraz, I think might be a little bit tougher against Zverev. Zverev's going to be motivated because he should have been in the final last year. He was up 2-0, serving at 5-5 in the fourth set tiebreaker. He should have been in the final. So if he didn't do what he did. Anyway, so I think Novak served very well against Alcaraz. I think it's going to be interesting, the serve return dynamic in this match, and how well Zverev serves and how many aces he can get, etc., etc. Is going to be ideal, and also he needs to play like he did in the fourth set. Overall, I've also got Djokovic in 4 sets, but I think it's going to be very interesting, honestly, to see. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Zverev's got a shot here. I think Novak can't just let down his guard. Beating Alcaraz isn't him winning the tournament. Now a lot of people are like, oh, congrats on number 25. Djokovic needs to not think of like that at all. He needs to go back to the mentality he had going into, I think, their last Grand Slam meeting, if I'm not mistaken, at the US Open. That was their last Grand Slam meeting, where he was saying to himself that match is just paramount. He needs to bring his all to beat Zverev. I think it might be a similar case here. We'll see if Novak has it. He's not getting any younger, but he's still playing like he is. And yeah, that's why I've got Novak, because he's playing unreal. And I think he's going to get so much confidence from that Alcaraz victory, and I think he's going to be ready and know what's in front of him. I think Novak is motivated for number 25, knowing that he has a chance to win, and I bet he's thinking to himself, who knows how many more chances I have. Everybody else is wondering the same thing, but in a more positive context. I won't be surprised if Novak is being a little bit more realistic with himself and thinking, I've got a genuine, real big chance to get this one. I've got to give everything I have against Zverev, and Djokovic knows what Zverev's made of, and that's why he's been able to win in the big moments. And also, I will mention Zverev in their previous meetings at times, once again, was not able to capitalize in the big moments. Sometimes he was able to, but for example, Cincinnati 2023, I remember a few easy volleys Zverev missed. Something that he's improved upon, the volleys, so I don't know. We'll see. It will be interesting. For Djokovic, 8-4 against Zverev, I'm going to guess that goes to 9-4. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the previews and the predictions. I've got Djokovic in 4 sets. I've got Sinner in 4 sets. But I honestly think both of their opponents can make this interesting, and I'm including Shelton in that. I think Shelton has gone a little bit under the radar, and I don't think Shelton is Sinner's favorite opponent to play. So I think it could be actually interesting. So I think both will be interesting. And yeah, I'm excited for it. And thank you guys. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, all that stuff, whatever. And yeah, I'll see you guys at the live streams. We'll be live streaming, so check those out. Check out the other New Tennis Era podcasts. Check out the ones coming up. This comes out weekly. And yeah, it's been Anthony Hirsch. I will see you guys next time. And I'll see you guys for those semifinal matches during the live streams.